Did they talk about the play they ran at the end of the game when it was the worst player screen I've ever seen in the history of basketball? No. See, here's what you got to do, Sherwood. I respect you. You're fantastic. But damn it, don't blame the officials. When you have a game like this, that close, there's about 100 or 1,000 different things you could have done differently that could have won you the game.
Betting above the rim. Only on SportsGrid.
Right here with you on Pro Football Today on SportsGrid. Odds in motion, trying to see what lines have moved throughout the week.
Never felt more comfortable in this set than I do for this year. I am ready. I'm just getting angry. The hot takes are going to be here all season long. What in the world is going on in Miami, Dom?
It's not particularly anything to shy away from just because many people are on top of it.
Hot take.
I think this line is asking you once again to take New Orleans.
Pro Football Today. Only on SportsGrid.
Welcome into Pro Football Today. It's Monday Night Football here on SportsGrid TV. Kasey Hudson, Dave Sharapan, Adam Kaufman, Tom Vecchio. The order switched up just a smidge here, but regardless, the party's here to get you ready for Monday Night Football. And no, I'm not excited because it's the Tampa Bay Bucks. I'm just excited to be reunited with all these fabulous men and the gentleman who's not shaving his face right now, that being Adam Kaufman and No Shave November coming in hot. But guys, I'm very excited to dive into this. Bucks taking on the Chiefs. Spread sitting at 9.5. Total sitting at 45.5, and there's been a lot of questions. There's been a lot of text messages. A lot of people don't know where to lean when it comes to props or who to favorably take in this one. And again, I'm not just saying that because it's me in Tampa Bay, but before we get into all of the fun, Dave, you look so nice today. You look so great. How are you doing? Talk to us, Sports King.
I figured you might like this whole get-up, and it's great to see everybody, including Adam. You're in a different spot. I'm not used to you being right next to me. I'm used to you being down there. Just so you know, Adam, in case you didn't watch the show. Yeah, I mean, you're usually over there, and I don't know. But
it's okay, Dave. I don't like change either. It's fine.
That's fine. We're good. We love change. I'm fine with all of it. But it was Halloween last time we were together, and Adam, I was going to come on dressed as you. But I didn't because I was gonna wear the sport coat and paint the beard on and all that other stuff. Before the last time we were all together, everyone didn't win every single bet they made over the weekend on the NFL. Like all the favorites won except the Saints. They hit 13-1 on the money line, 10-4 against the spread. Kasey, I as the resident book guy on the show, I'm just going to sit back and let you tell everybody what all the winners are. I'm just going to say yes to everything. I like every bet you make. I love every bet you make. Tight ends, first halves, position battles. I give up.
Do you think,
I'm ready for the cold. I'm done. That's it.
Do you think doing that in the beginning, like right now, is going to get you off the hook? Like me and Kaufman and Vecchio are going to let you just be like, I love everything, and then that's it? Like that's the show? No, Dave. You're going to have to pick a child today in two different categories, right, so get ready. Digest that one. Kaufman, what's up? How's the beard feeling? How's it treating you?
Scruffy, little prickly, I guess. We're still in that in-between stage before it becomes like nice and soft and velvety. So I'm working on it, I guess. I'm not there quite yet, and who knows?
Tomorrow?
Maybe the next time I'll come on Thursday, and it'll be just the stash, and we'll be full-on Movember. Anything is possible.
Please.
But, Dave brought up the 13-1 for the favorites straight up. And obviously straight up is the keynote right there because we did see a lot of dogs cover. But It is kind of crazy. I feel like, the algorithm, it pays attention, obviously, and I'm on my phone all the time. Much of my For You feed on Twitter, or X if you prefer, is gambling talk, and yet I'm not seeing any of those slips on, like, BR Betting or wherever of people posting these huge favorites money line parlays. So I don't know. Was this just the weekend that people didn't do it? There were a lot of dogs that people were on. I mean, look, I'm guilty of it as well. Yes,
there's
sir.
something else going on tomorrow. I don't know if you've heard. It's dominating everybody's For You feed. We're not really need to mention it. There's a big day tomorrow. Yeah,
again,
big
just
day
the gambling.
Yeah, not the gambling.
Gambling and dad jokes. That's my algorithm, Dave. I don't know what you're talking about.
I could see it. And then Most Shave November. If everybody shows up with a mustache, I will legit give you each $10 towards a bet. Is that good stuff? Can we bet on that?
I'll do it without the 10. That's fine. I'm in.
The person I'm really trying to egg on.
Advantage between
None of us
Adam
would be
and
allowed near
Vecchio.
a school, but that's all right.
The one
guys
I'm really
could
trying to
blow
egg
a
on is
beer
Tom.
overnight.
I'm trying to figure out how we get Tom to show up with just a mustache. Vecchio's like, no.
The beard in
Just a
7
mustache
years.
won't
Isn't
happen.
that right, Tom? It's 7 years.
It's coming up on 10 years, actually. June of next year will be 10 years, so can't let it slip now.
Tom and his beard are going out for an anniversary dinner when that day comes. It's a big deal.
It probably is a big deal. I'm going to figure out the right bet to strike with you gentlemen, though, to where it works in my favor. Everyone comes in with mustaches, and we call it a season. Tom, how's it going? What are you thinking of this game? How you feeling? How's your Monday? All the things.
I am coming off of a great few days of betting. Obviously, all of that could certainly change tonight. I think I have a very specific game script that I'm expecting for tonight, and want to obviously run it by Adam and Dave. One of the trends we've seen this year, and not just for the Chiefs, but maybe specifically for the Chiefs, is they're winning games. They're kind of winning a little bit sloppy, and we see Mahomes do a little bit of Mahomes magic, and they end up winning a game they may not be covering. So I don't want to get too specific, but I could see this game ending 27-20. The Chiefs win, they don't cover, and we land right at that number for the total. So, I'm expecting a good amount of scoring tonight. I don't think we're going to fly over and see 60 points. I don't think we're going to stay under and see 30 points. I think we're going to be right at that line. I think we're going to see a late turnover or a late score from one of these teams that's going to, cause the Bucs to cover but not win. We're going to see that late touchdown that causes the Chiefs to pull ahead, and then whatever it might be. So I think we're in for a good game tonight. I think there's a very specific route that I want to go for, a specific player as usual. I'm ready to roll. I think we're in for an awesome one tonight.
Can I give you a wild number, though, based around that total? Because I know, Kasey, obviously you missed me on Thursday. At least I missed you guys anyway. But yeah, trends are our friends. Yeah, let's all say it together. Mm-hmm. Trends are our friends until they're not.
Trends are our friends.
The Buccaneers this year. Yeah, all right, good. We'll rehearse that. We'll be better next time. The Buccaneers, okay, they are 6-2 to the over this year, and yeah, they are down a couple of gigantic weapons. No Mike Evans, no Chris Godwin. What is Baker Mayfield going to do? Probably key in on Cade Otton. Oh, by the way, McMillan is out as well, so it's just that much more attention on Otton. Chiefs are stellar against the run. It probably doesn't bode favorably for Bucky Irving or obviously, Rashad White, at least in the running game, maybe as pass catchers, and we can get to that later. But here is your trend. Buccaneers games have gone over in 5 straight. And again, we're talking about Bucs games, not their team total. They have gone over in 5 straight by an average, guys, of 19 points. The total in this one, again, is sitting at right around 45.5. That has been cleared in 5 out of the last 8 Bucs games. So, I don't know. Again, it comes down to one of two things. Are we concerned about the Bucs offense? Are we respecting the Chiefs defense? What is it that makes us say, I don't know if we're going to get to the mid-40s in this one?
My larger concern is going to be what the expectation is for the Chiefs defense in the red zone. But with you being down, not with you, but with the Bucs being down a number of weapons, those are kind of the guys that usually get some of those big conversions done. So Bucky Irving and or Rashad White are going to have a larger role. Cade Otton has had a larger role since these two Titans have gone down. So regardless, that's probably going to be my biggest concern is how efficient can the Chiefs defense remain when it comes to their red zone shutdown. I think last I saw they were sitting 8th in the league, and they upped the ante from about 49.7% to 55.6%. But we're going to get into all of this here on Pro Football Today, the pregame party with all of us. But once we get back from this upcoming break, we're going to take some things head-to-head because that's the best way to lay down the groundwork, what to expect on the Monday Night Football matchup. All of us basically already mentioned a number of guys out for the Tampa Bay Bucks, but we did see some hustle and fight versus the Falcons. It's how can they continue to execute and how can they polish things off and finish. You saw Baker Mayfield take a lot of responsibility for trying to make certain plays happen a little too late down the stretch there. But a defensive-minded coach might help keep this a lot closer. We know that Bowles is the blitz king when it comes to trying to go against this Kansas City offense. So a lot to unpack, a lot to see what's in store for Monday Night Football. But more importantly, you see the handles. Follow these gentlemen as well as myself over on X and at SportsGrid over at SportsGrid. We'll catch you guys on the other side of this quick break.
Enter into the magical world of McLuck.com, where even the smallest of spins can win real cash prizes. Adventure into over 1,000 of the best Vegas-style slot games. So what are you waiting for? Unlock your free welcome offer today. Join the fun where winners play and players win.
Look, Aaron Rodgers, it does seem like he really enjoys, people like us, Vinny, talking about him.
I don't know what's going on here with Aaron Rodgers. I think there's some frustration settling in, and the Jets were not supposed to be this bad of a defense, right? They've had a lot of injuries. Maybe that's the thing here. Robert Saleh's influence is there. I know they have their defensive coordinator running things, but now he's distracted.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Did they talk about the play they ran at the end of the game when it was the worst player screen I've ever seen in the history of basketball? No. See, here's what you got to do, Sherwood. I respect you. You're fantastic. But damn it, don't blame the officials. When you have a game like that close, there's about 100 or 1,000 different things you could have done differently that could have won you the game.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern.
Welcome back into Pro Football Today. It's the pregame party with Kasey Hudson, Dave Sharapan, Adam Kaufman, Tom Vecchio, and I got that right, go me. But we're getting you ready for Monday Night Football. Tampa Bay Bucks taking on the Kansas City Chiefs. Chiefs are feeling themselves, and they acquired some weapons to help them get back into a consistent mode. Will we see 200-plus yards out of Patrick Mahomes today? Will we see 250-plus yards out of Baker Mayfield? These are the questions that we are here to answer. So it's time to take some things head-to-head. Tom Vecchio, talk to me about this quarterback matchup. You got Mahomes, unless the graphic says different. Right now, what I'm seeing on FanDuel, oh, there we go. Thank you, gentlemen. 250.5 passing yards, and then you've got Baker Mayfield, 237.5. A lot of times, a lot of people are interested in probably Baker throwing for 1.5 plus passing touchdowns, but now Patrick Mahomes has a new weapon. His reps are not supposed to be as limited as they were last week. So what looks more favorable to you when it comes to taking these two quarterbacks head-to-head?
Ultimately, I like Baker's props a little bit more, and this is solely because I expect them to be playing from behind. Also, given the fact that the Chiefs have a great run defense, they're allowing the third fewest rushing yards per game, down at only 82. So I don't expect the Bucs to move the ball effectively on the ground or a lot at all. And yeah, while the Bucs are missing Godwin and Evans, as everyone likes to continue to talk about, and even McMillan tonight, I expect the Bucs to be playing from behind. And we kind of saw it in that Ravens game where end of the game, Baker's picking up, and you want to call him garbage time yards, whatever it is, like he's going to get there. So I like him over on the yards. I also like him specifically over 34.5 attempts. We're just going to see him sling the ball. We've seen this number hit this number in 4 of his last 5 games. They have to throw the ball, especially if this 9.5 point spread. That's what they're expected to do. They're expected to throw the ball. So I like Baker. Again, it's just simply getting there by attrition. They're not going to be super sexy yards because we just don't have those top receiving options for him. When it comes to Mahomes, I think we actually could be looking at an interception. He's sitting at plus 100 for interception. We've seen this in 8 straight games. I honestly think we could be seeing interceptions from both of these quarterbacks. So you want to go a little same game parlay over on DraftKings. Interception each way, sitting up at plus 202.
Oh, I'm a fan of that one. Something to definitely gauge. And that's basically what I was about to ask Adam, if he had a trend and friend and all the things for Patrick Mahomes and the many interceptions he's thrown thus far this season. You talk about sexy plays, though. Baker Mayfield has an opportunity to get a little sexy with K. Dot, and I'm not being biased on that one. Talk to me, Kaufman. Whoa. What do you like between this quarterback matchup more favorably?
Well, I do wholeheartedly agree with what Tom said about going over on attempts for Baker Mayfield. I like that play a lot. In fact, if you look at his last 2 games, he has thrown the ball almost 100 times just in those 2 games. 50 in one, 45 in the other. And again, that's being down his top 2 wide receiving options. And again, no Godwin and no Evans. So we'll see how much Otten can do or how the Chiefs are able to attempt to take him out of the game. Chiefs are, admittedly not very good against the pass, so there'll be an opportunity there. But, in terms of being just downright atrocious against the pass, that's the Buccaneers. I mean, Patrick Mahomes is, facing a defense here that is sitting looking at 29th in the NFL, allowing 255 passing yards per game. He threw for 331 in Week 6 against the Saints. He's gone over 2 out of his last 3 contests. He's got DeAndre Hopkins there now, who has obviously had now a full week of practice to go over and learn the playbook. Travis Kelce in a very advantageous spot against a team that really does just woefully against tight ends in general. And Kelce, cream of the crop, at least in terms of ability when they do decide to dust him off and let him go, as he has been since Rashee Rice went down. And then you mix in just some of the other complementary pieces. I think it's a better spot for Patrick Mahomes on the surface. But we talk narrative street and sort of telling yourself a story. And if we believe that it's going to be the Buccaneers playing from behind and Mayfield throwing the ball a lot and some of the stuff that Tom already mentioned, then sure, it probably makes more sense that Mayfield is the one who more likely than not exceeds his props because they're going to have to throw.
All right. Way to lay that one out. Sports King, you got a thought on that one? Or you said,
No, I'm thinking, so I just saw, and I'll give credit to ESPN, I saw this on there earlier. These two played in college in 2016, Oklahoma versus Texas Tech. Mm-hmm. Patrick Mahomes threw it 88 times. The final score was 63-59. I hope everything goes over tonight. I want an entertaining football game. How does it not go over? We saw a very similar type game in Tampa not that long ago, right? With the Ravens in Tampa. The Ravens got out to a huge lead, but then it got, close to being a question whether the back door was going to come into play, because Tampa got an interception and then got a score. Both guys to throw an interception seems so obvious. And when you look at those prices, like right there, again, I'm not saying that Patrick Mahomes' number should be the same as Baker Mayfield, but it should be a hell of a lot closer. Minus 146 for Baker and only minus 130 no for – does that mean they're going to run the ball? Do we got to talk about the running backs?
I think that's where we got to go, because I heard some guys chatting around the studio here that Kareem Hunt's numbers were changing, and I believe I heard the term plummeting. So let's talk about this running back room. Tom, get us going there. Of course, we know Kareem Hunt's usually the tap on the shoulder guy for this, but then you got Bucky Irving for the Bucs, as well as Rachaad White. We've seen Rachaad White take more of that pass catching role. Bucky Irving has his moments of getting hot, but nobody seems to have faith that they can generate a bunch of some running offense here for the Tampa Bay Bucs. So where are you leaning when it comes to this matchup?
Really like Kareem Hunt over 16.5 rushing attempts. It's attempts for Baker. It's attempts for Kareem Hunt. He's been over this number in 3 straight games, 20 plus in 3 straight games. The only time Kareem Hunt didn't go over this number was the first game of the season, or his first game of the season against the Chargers, when they signed him, off his couch at home. So my game script is that the Chiefs get out and score, then they're in a spot to run the ball, and then Baker and the Bucs have to come passing the ball from behind. So I like what we see from Kareem Hunt. I like Bucky Irving over 16.5 receiving. I think he's going to have to play a part tonight, because the Bucs aren't going to be able to move the ball effectively on the ground. They're going to have to go to the passing game.
All right. Well, like I mentioned, we'll continue to dive into these position groups. But on the other side of this coming break, it's time for some same game parlay. Last week, or I guess Thursday, yes, it was last week, I took over for Adam. I threw something in the mix there. I was so confident, overly confident, and I was even quickly humbled at that moment. So now it's going to be good to see these two go toe-to-toe for same game parlay. So make sure you stick with us here on SportsGrid for the Pro Football Today pregame party. Follow us over at SportsGrid and stick with us on the other side of this quick break.
Tatum has fixed that hitch. He now shoots it at the top of his jump. His release is really pure. And right now he's shooting it at 49% from 3. Now, I'm not saying he's going to shoot at 49% from 3 for the season. But if he's at 43%, Lord have mercy, look out below. Jason Tatum, right now, my number 6 player in the NBA.
Betting above the rim. Only on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start, so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
Back at it with Pro Football Today, the pregame party, Kasey, Tom, Dave, and Adam. But most importantly, as I mentioned and teased ahead of the break, it's time for us to get into some same game parlay partying. Let's run it. All right, this Floridian's working on her vocabulary, but it's not about me.
Great.
It's not about what I say and how I say it, actually. It's about the same game parlaying that we are about to get into right here, right now. It's Monday, which means Kaufman takes the lead on this one. Tom's nodding his head like he got another winner under his belt, so A lot of pressure on you, Dave. I hope that you're breathing. Adam, get us going.
I'm ready.
Tom, did you manage a win when I wasn't here? Good for you. All right, my turn here. Let's see what ends up happening with tonight's SGP, which is basically a plus 350 on FanDuel. We're doing some alts in terms of what we're looking for from these guys, but it begins with the Chiefs on the money line. We're talking about favorites week, 13-1, straight up the favorites. Well, a team that is 7-0 and going against a dumpster fire, albeit a fight hard dumpster fire in the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who are down their two most important weapons. Yeah, I'm going to go with the Chiefs money line to take care of business, especially in the environment that they are in. Now, Travis Kelce, here's some fun facts on Travis Kelce. The Bucs awful against the tight end position. The Bucs are going to blitz a lot. Mahomes just going to find Kelce, who has run over 90% of routes over the snaps that he has played since Rashee Rice went down. He has once again been, rip off the bubble tape, the bubble wrap or whatever. Bubble tape is a gum. The bubble wrap that has him, being prepared for the postseason later. We need him now. And, of course, staying undefeated is important. You're going to go to your most important guy. Respect to DeAndre Hopkins. We'll see what you are. But right now, that is still obviously Travis Kelce, and the numbers support it as the season has gone along. Now, flip side, K. Dotton. We keep talking, no Godwin, no Evans, no problem? No, lots of problems. So where is Baker Mayfield going to go? It's to his reliable safety blanket, and K. Dotton has been that guy. He had 9 catches on 10 targets last week, 8 catches on 10 targets the week before. We are looking for him to get 5 catches in this game. And then Patrick Mahomes, I know this has not happened a lot over the course of this year. In fact, it's only happened 3 times where he has passed for 2+ touchdowns. And the most recent time was his previous game. But I think it's going to happen again against a team that, as we have talked about, is just woeful against the passing game in general. This is a perfect sort of get-right recipe for Mahomes individually to have 2, maybe even 3 passing touchdowns. Honestly, I feel like I'm not getting a good enough number with these wonderful things that I am putting together, but I'm going to settle for the plus 350 because, Tom, you've never heard me say this before. This is hitting. This is going to hit. I have already personally invested, and you out there watching or listening, you'd be foolish to not do the same.
Whoa, a lot of disrespect in that one, but I'm not going to go on my rampage. I'm actually just going to toss the baton to Tom. Go ahead. Let us see what you got going for your SGP.
Yeah, as I often come on the show, I'm on the show every time, but as I always say on the show, it is the DeAndre Hopkins game for the Chiefs. They brought him in for a reason. Let's run it up with DeAndre Hopkins for a TD. DeAndre Hopkins line, 40 plus. We'll take him in the alt. I do like him over 42.5. We'll get into some, other things when we get to the receiving. And then ultimately, like I said, the Chiefs are going to get out ahead because they're going to be passing the ball against the defense that allows 255 passing yards per game. That's the 3rd most in the league. And then we're going to need to see the Bucs come from behind, and that's going to be Baker throwing the ball, a lot. And, we're going to see some yards from Baker again. So this is the time for Hopkins to get his first touchdown with the Chiefs. They brought him in for a reason. Last week, he went 2 catches for 29 yards, 1 for 16 yards, 1 for 13 yards. As Adam said, there's another week of practice and getting the playbook. He was with the team for 3 days of practice, whatever it was last week before the Raiders game. Very minimal role. Okay, that's going to happen. He's going to get more involved in the offense. Andy Reid wants him to be there, wants him to be that option to help move the chains, to continue moving the passing offense, which has been a little bit low for the Chiefs at times this year after Rice went down. So this is the DeAndre Hopkins game. He's going to score a touchdown today. We get a great number of plus 478, and we're going to see Baker playing from behind, throwing the ball a ton.
Okay, I'll mention 2 things, Dave, while you digest all of that. First and foremost, Levante David has had Travis Kelce's number in majority of the matchups between the Bucs and the Chiefs, so you can talk about Travis Kelce in his heyday all day long. Then you also have to take in consideration that the Chiefs have been 24th in the league when it comes to converting red zone opportunities. So yes, DeAndre Hopkins has to be an alleviator in that sense, but we shall see what takes place. I'm not going to toss it to you yet. I'm going to let you just completely take in what these gentlemen threw out there. A whole break to do so. But for you football fans, make sure you're following SportsGrid over at SportsGrid. Make sure you're following these guys over on X. Make sure you're sticking with us on the other side of this quick break here on Pro Football Today, the pregame show. We will catch you guys on the other side.
has fixed that hitch. He now shoots it at the top of his jump. His release is really pure. And right now he's shooting it at 49% from three. Now, I'm not saying he's going to shoot at 49% from three for the season. But if he's at 42, 43%, Lord have mercy, look out below. Jason Tatum, right now, my number 6 player in the NBA.
Betting above the rim. Only on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
Welcome back into Pro Football Today, the pregame show with Kasey, Tom, Dave, and Adam. We just wrapped up some same-game parlays. Now it's time for Dave to pick a parlay. There you go. Words.
Nice work. Yes, excellent. Good usage.
Pick your poison.
We're just going to try to alleviate the situation right now, okay? I'm very confused by all of this, all right? I'm going to be an alleviator. We moved off, and all of a sudden, Vecchio went away from what he knows in running backs. Like, we're going with the D-hop, and we're going with the receiving yards, and I love it. I just love it.
Whoa.
This makes perfect
This is
sense
not the
to me.
segment for love.
I know, but listen, everything you guys say is going to be right because everybody won all week. Like, this is just the completion of all the bettors winning. So that is going to win. Kaufman taking a night off to spend with his kids and alleviate any problems he may have with the wife and trick or treat or anything like that, comes on and says, this is going to win. He comes on with a 4-gamer, a 4-item, a 4-piece, however you people like to call it in the gambling world,
4-legger,
and says it's going to win, which shocked me. Kaufman never comes on like that and says, this is definitely going to win. The one you won that was 22-1, you were like casual, like, I don't know. So, Kasey, if we have to do it, we have to pick.
You're fired.
I'm not saying both.
Okay.
I don't want to alleviate the situation any worse than I already have.
You don't have that power. You can't fire him.
Yeah.
I can. I totally can.
Oh, she probably could. She probably could.
Easy. You see who's sitting at the desk, Adam? There's a lot of power in this desk, okay?
Anything else? Listen,
That's
all
true.
right, let's move on. I give it tonight, Monday, it's Vecchio. I am buying.
Shock.
I'm buying the hype of the new guy. I'm giving it to Vecchio. Listen, that's
So
a
much
good one.
shock.
478. All I got to do is get a touchdown. The D-hop touchdown's what's going to beat us.
You just sat there gassing up
Come on.
Kaufman. I thought there was a shift in the atmosphere.
Yeah,
I thought November was
He
bringing a
carried the
different
lead.
energy. Yeah, totally
He
buried the lead.
felt like it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. When some zig, he zags.
Well,
I think this is a perfect time to transition into head-to-head for wide receivers. If I don't go.
Perfect.
This is a perfect time to continue talking about why Tom is going to be successful with his same game parlay.
Right.
Sure, Tom, take it from us. DeAndre Hopkins getting in the mix, no limited reps for him is the conversation,
Right.
and then you've got not too many wide receivers over there for the Bucs. So go have at it.
Yeah, that number's sitting at 45.5 now. It was 42.5 yesterday. That's where I have it. And frankly, I like him for 50-plus yards at plus 114 and 60-plus yards at plus 176. And ultimately, we're not asking for a lot. Like, I'm not saying he's going to go for 150 yards and he's going to have 10 catches and 2 touchdowns. Like, we're talking about 60 yards here in a game that, we're expecting to have some points of 45, 46 over-under. Mahomes, his over 1.5 passing touchdown is juiced, what was it, minus 154 or so that Adam had in the same game parlay. Mahomes' yards is sitting up at 250. We're going to see DeAndre Hopkins fully involved. And again, I'm going to circle back to the point that they went and got him for a reason. And, while Travis Kelce can be a big part of their offense, he can't be their entire offense. And Xavier Worthy is still a rookie. And while I'm very high on him long-term, as I have him on my most important dynasty fantasy team, Xavier Worthy is still a rookie. They need that veteran guy to move the chains that has been the piece missing for Mahomes. So when we see DeAndre Hopkins' line sitting at 42.5, it's now 45.5, and getting an extra few yards to 50 or one extra reception to get up to 60 when he had 2 receptions of 13 and 16 yards last week, that's the role he's been playing of 10-plus yards downfield. Hopkins game tonight. Get on board.
Oh, there's a number of things that I like in that one. But, Adam, honestly, all I heard Tom say is that he liked your SGP. So talk to me about the wide receivers and what you like in it. It's really all I heard. What you like in this one. And is there a potential longest reception for DeAndre Hopkins? Because, as Tom mentioned, you got those 2 chunk plays. You got a guy who's known to have those big plays. And then, yes, I will admit the Chiefs have had the ability to have some success with stuff like that versus the Bucs a couple of times. So what do you think, Kaufman?
Here's what I thought Dave was going to do. I thought he was going to say he loved Tom's, he loved mine, and what the hell? Let's only YOLO, right? You only live once. Let's put them both together and have one massive SUV. Wow. That's what I thought Sharapan was going to do. Instead, he gassed me up, he pumped my tires, and then just put a little pin in them.
He pumped your tires and popped your tires.
He popped my balloon is what it's like running over a nail in the driveway, hanging out with Sharapan. Listen, as far as these wideouts go, look, Tom makes a compelling case, and I'm certainly not going to say that he's wrong, especially when I've been, touting trends that lead us to believe that there are going to be overs and we're going to get points in this one. Why can't a bunch of these guys clear their numbers? I just, again, come back to, I really like Kelce in this matchup. I think he is going to be, much like Cade Otton on the other side, the go-to option for his respective quarterback. And, oh, by the way, both these teams stink against the tight end position. So I think it just that much more inflates the importance of both Kelce and Otton here in prime time. I'm sure Taylor Swift's going to be in attendance, all that stuff. But as far as Hopkins, I think, look, I almost put him in my SGP too. I think if you want to go over on longest reception for him because the Bucs do allow some big plays, you want to say that he's going to be involved? Absolutely. Where I am in agreement is I would go toward him for sure before I would go toward Worthy, for instance. When it comes to Worthy, it's more, you just don't know with him. Is it going to be a, short yardage, then he uses the speed, picks up yards that way, or is he going to be stifled the line? Like, I would rather and I probably won't have any Worthy anyway, but if I was going to play stuff with Worthy, I would be more inclined to play receptions. And, really, I'm just kind of thinking about Worthy and builders. Like, throw in 2 catches in there for Worthy, but I don't want to go to 25 yards. You know what I mean? I just feel like he could let you down there. So that's it. Look, the wide receivers are tough in this game. They are. It's a hard market to handicap.
Who's not tough, Adam? You know who's not tough? The tight ends. Like, there's one tight end. Kelce, Kasey, you got to have something for the tight ends. Please tell me, or at least the tight end. I don't know.
Tight end.
I made a good case for the Otton, but, is this not a
you want me to talk about the other one?
Game with a Kasey game? Well, please do. Please. Get us something.
Okay,
where's the Noah Gray love? That's what Dave wants to know.
Exactly. There you go. Take him for over 2 receptions because I'm sure he can accumulate that. 1? Is it 1? Is it 1.5?
Like 22, 23 and a half yards. He could go. I already bet him to go over.
But we can't. Over. I know. See, this is what I don't know because whenever Travis Kelce is actually actively involved, who is Noah Gray? Because we're just now seeing Kelce take off the bubble wrap or tape, as you just placed it a moment ago. Right. So I mean, when it's Travis Kelce's show, it's his show. It's his era. It's his entire performance in concert in all the ways.
Nice.
Exactly. Good. You're welcome. Nice. But I'm not exactly expecting that. I'm expecting, did you say tour? We're not doing this. I'm not going to do the vocabulary thing. Anyway, so yes, I do have love for Travis Kelce. I do not know what to expect. And then the anticipation behind Hopkins, and then as Tom mentioned, when it comes to Worthy, maybe Worthy in the red zone, who knows? There's just too many question marks. What I can tell you when it comes to Cade Otton and what the tight ends can do versus the Chiefs defense is the fact that tight ends versus KC, 8.5, or sitting at 8.5 targets, 7 receptions, and 80 receiving yards is the average for the tight end. And Cade Otton's coming off of an 80-plus performance, so that's where I'm leaning heavily. I like Cade Otton. It's just over 55.5 last I saw it. But I will say this, giving some love to the Kansas City side. Actually, no, I tried. Never mind. What I do want to ask you, Sports King, before we switch things up and then get ready for some Like It, Love It, Leave It, is that I mentioned at the top of the segment, Kareem Hunt, they said that his numbers were kind of shifting around a little bit there. The running back room, not much production when it comes to Bucky and White potentially, but then for Kareem Hunt, are the books kind of doing another bait switch thing with us here, or do we think Kareem Hunt can hit over 65.5 rushing yards?
I think what's happening right now, we're not talking about the weather and the rain. And a lot of people are betting because it's going to be one of those Florida nasty. No, it's in Kansas City. It's going to be even colder, wet, rain, disgusting games, and they're betting it under. So you're seeing the books adjust on the fly right now. So we'll see. I don't know yet, but we have to adjust. A lot of love, white, green, all kinds of things.
All the things on the other side.
Tatum has fixed that hitch. He now shoots it at the top of his jump. His release is really pure. And right now he's shooting it at 49% from three. Now, I'm not saying he's going to shoot at 49% from three for the season. But if he's at 42, 43%, Lord have mercy, look out below. Jason Tatum, right now, my number 6 player in the NBA.
Betting above the rim. Only on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
Back at it with Pro Football Today, the pregame show with Kasey Hudson, Tom Vecchio, Adam Kaufman, and Dave Sharapan. I almost called Adam Sharapan, so that's how well we're doing on this Monday. But regardless, it's going to get that much better. It's going to get better because we are about to hit some Like It, Love It, Leave It. Let's go. All right, Tom, what do you got for us? Because it's Monday, and you lead us with the Like It, Love It, Leave It, the laws. Let's go.
Yeah, the laws for today would be DeAndre Hopkins, 25 plus yards in each half. His number sitting at 42. That has risen to 45.5. This bet is sitting at plus 400 again. I'm a DeAndre Hopkins stan tonight. That's what this is all about. It's about DeAndre Hopkins having a big game. That is my whole game script. And listen, if he ends with 2 yards, I'm just wrong. And that's certainly the possibility. But ultimately, I don't think that's going to be the case because, again, they brought him in for a reason. So if I'm expecting him to go for 50-plus yards, which I have him altered and at 60-plus and at 70-plus, he's going to be picking up yards. And, yeah, it'd be great if they came split. We get some in the first half, some in the second half. I guess if they all came in the first half, we'd be sitting pretty at that point, and I guess I'll take one loss on the plus 400 bet if his touchdown bet cashes. But 25-plus yards is very, very doable when we have a quarterback with the prop sitting at 250. And again, we briefly mentioned the weather. I'm not expecting to be too much of an issue. So D-Hop, 25-plus yards in each half at plus 400.
All right, we got the full Stan account for D-Hops over here. What do you got for us, Kaufman?
I don't know if you guys have heard, but I think that K. Dotton is going to have a good game tonight. I really do. And so that in mind, why not invest in it just a little bit, guys? Again, 9 catches on 10 targets last week, 8 catches on 10 targets the week before that. Over his last 2 games, a combined 181 receiving yards. You want to know why? No Godwin, no Evans, not even McMillan tonight. Baker is going to be keying in on this dude. You're looking at it on your screen. 10-plus yards each quarter for K. Dotton, you can get at plus 750. Honestly, if this doesn't hit, it is a confluence of a couple of things, I guess. One, it is that the Chiefs are absolutely, I'll explain it to you later during the break, that the Chiefs are absolutely dominating time of possession, and the Bucs are not even getting an opportunity. Like repeated 3 and outs. Repeat 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out. No, if Baker's moving the chains at all, K. Dotton is going to be involved. 10-plus yards per quarter. Are you kidding me? Are you serious? Plus 750. Yeah, let's play this.
I'll take it.
Okay.
That's almost like my poetic snaps, but like in cash hands.
Is that what that
K-Dotton's that's what it's about to be. K-Dotton's a dude's dude. Look, everyone's probably gonna hate this, but it's fine. It just feels like everybody hates Case Dave. Just swap out Chris for Case. Bucky Irving, first half, tutty, plus 550.
First half touchdown.
Oh my!
Like it's not enough to just say, touchdown. No, it's got to be a first half touchdown.
It's not enough. It's not enough, Adam. It clearly was not enough.
Oh,
Sharapan, tell her. The books love her. The books love Kasey.
Listen. I love Kasey. Okay, it's not hate Kasey night.
Everybody hates Case Day.
The books do love you. I mean, it's hard enough. Adam's right. You could have just picked the game, and I think I would have given you maybe a just because it's that kind of night. But I got to leave yours, Case. I mean, we're going to work backwards again, okay?
Totally fine. Same thing that happened last week.
Listen, it's not personal. It's just business. When we come on here every single week and everybody's watching, it's just business. It's not personal. Yours, I'm leaving, okay? It's not happening.
It's fine.
I will say this. Kaufman, whether they call you Kaufman, Sharapan, whatever, tonight, I think I love it. How does this
we're family.
not? No, I mean, we are family tonight. I want to see this happen early, too, in the third quarter. So, everyone that's still awake and getting ready to watch, Case and Vecchio do the post-game show knows that you hit this because we're going to put this out everywhere if you hit this. I do, really. I love it. Tom, I'm just going to give you a like tonight. I don't know. I got to do it. It's because they think I just show you favoritism. Tom, I'm just going to leave yours right where it is.
I mean, Tom's just missing an apple in his frame.
You took your shot. No, I got to admit, Tom doesn't do this. He got the biggest price of everybody tonight with this one. I mean, this is big.
Tom started to work his way in there. Let's not get too fluffy here and be like, Tom doesn't do this. Tom doesn't do that. No, Tom's been testing the water.
Listen, I was right about Russell Wilson.
Bet on Devontae Adams anytime touchdown, and now
did I hit the 975 bonus bet? Yes, that's a different story. We can circle back to that in the break.
You were right about Russell Wilson. I can't believe that one didn't hit.
Here we go.
The Russell Wilson one should have hit.
You know what?
Honestly, 225 plus yards hit. That hit. I was right about that. And his over on completions hit as well.
Correct.
You've had a pretty stellar 72-plus hours. I'll give you that. Look, I can give credit where credit's due, and let's be serious, gentlemen. I do my la-la-laws the way that I do just so I can get a reaction out of you, and it's a bonding moment for all of us. But regardless, I catch another L in terms of leave it. Surprise, surprise. Adam finally catches more love. Actually, there's been a lot of love. No, I just corrected myself. There's been a lot of love towards you in this particular moment. Yeah, a lot of love coming at you. So more love after he gassed him up and then popped his tires, and then Tom Vecchio's just rolling. Tom's rolling. All right, any final thoughts on some of the head-to-heads or some best bets or position groups that we're missing out on that everybody needs to keep an eye on when it comes to the Bucs taking on the Chiefs here shortly?
Kickers!
I was waiting for somebody to mention something with a kicker. What, the Bucs kicker?
Just field goals galore. Like, aren't there going to be red zone? I mean, in Tampa, field goals over, I think. They'll kick field goals early. First half, probably under, because Kansas City has not been good in the first half. There's a couple different things that I think we're working. I was waiting. I know you like the tight ends, and I mean, Tom came with the wide receiver love tonight, and the D-Hop love, and we always talk about the running backs. I think we have to mention it.
Can I take Adams like it, love it, leave it? Because honestly, I just want to jump ship here. I'm all for it.
I was just looking to see if we had the same odds. I'm just looking to see if it's moved at all.
Like I said, here's my poetic snap.
Still
you guys can join us at
it's
home.
still there.
You're not moving the number on that, Adam.
All right, well, we'll continue to figure out this and so much more. And then final thoughts with these guys on the other side of this break that we're coming up to. Make sure you're following SportsGrid over at SportsGrid, and make sure you continue to hang out with us once we get back from commercial.
Has fixed that hitch. He now shoots it at the top of his jump. His release is really pure. And right now he's shooting it at 49% from three. Now, I'm not saying he's going to shoot at 49% from three for the season. But if he's at 43%, Lord have mercy, look out below. Jason Tatum, right now, my number 6 player in the NBA.
Betting above the rim. Only on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
One more rally finale with this motley crew here on Pro Football Today, the pregame show with Kasey, Tom, Dave, and Adam. We just went through some like it, love it, leave it. I got left, but there was a little bit of love and a little bit of like shared between these two. Now we're going to get some final thoughts, but I do have to shout out one of our SportsGrid viewers because you guys laughing at me, joke's on you. I almost hit the tank first half touchdown, and last week, thirds away. So I'm getting some love from a number of people that are okay with the things I'm putting out there, just so y'all know. You know what? You don't have to just try to make me feel better about myself. It's not a big deal. Anyway, we are moments away from talking with Donnie, getting some more best bets on the table, and then in-game live coming in hot for Bucks versus Chiefs. But unfortunately, this is the time where we get ready to bid our adieu. So, Adam, I'll start with you. Final thoughts. He said,
Yeah, we haven't talked to, I can't believe it because normally you do bring it up, Kasey, earlier in the show. We have not done really any anytime touchdown talk. Apparently we've done any first halftime touchdown. I know I got to bring it up because I do think that Travis Kelce is going to score a touchdown tonight. And I know that may sound a little wild because he only has the one singular touchdown so far this year. But since Rashee Rice has gone down over the last month, the last 4 games, Kelce has 4 red zone targets, or 7 red zone targets in 4 games.
Drops?
So I think, what are you talking about? I think that Travis Kelce is going to have I just think Mahomes is going to be looking at him. Does it guarantee it? Of course not. There are no guarantees in getting, in betting, in life, in anything. But I do think that Mahomes is going to be looking his way. I already told you that I like Patrick Mahomes over 1.5 touchdowns. I think that at least one of those is going to be in the hands of Travis Kelce, and you can find that still at plus 125 if you shop around.
All right, solid hill to die on. Tom, what do you got for your final thoughts and all the things?
Yeah, I want to stick with what I said. I think we'll see the Chiefs win, the Bucks cover. Ultimately, the game's going to, I think, end right in that upper 40s range. DeAndre Hopkins is going to get involved. I haven't placed a bet on him for first touchdown, but I'll have to double check things, as we close things out before the game start. But I really do think that they need to get him involved and get him going on a week-to-week basis. And while I think Travis Kelce could also have a fantastic game tonight, they need to have balance in their offense, and everything can't be on the shoulders of Travis Kelce. As we saw in the beginning of the year, and that was one of the points I made about the Chiefs to you specifically, Kasey, when we were doing recaps. I'm saying the Chiefs have all these weapons. At the time, it was Rice. They drafted Worthy, the fastest player ever at the Combine. They have Kelce. They had Isaiah Pacheco at the time. They could have a very well-balanced offense. And, we have seen Kelce have some big games, but they need to get back to that balance, and that's what Hopkins is going to bring. They have Hunt in the backfield. They can mix in Noah Gray if we want. They can have Kelce. They can have a little bit of Xavier Worthy. But Hopkins has to bring that balance to them, and I think he has a big game tonight.
You did mention that, and it has played out. It started to play out favorably, and then things shifted. Sports King, let us know your final thoughts on this Bucks-Chiefs showdown.
Oh, so many things going on. I mean, again, favorites went 13-1 on the money line this week, and 10-4 against the spread. If you're not taking the Chiefs, I mean, good luck. You're with the books. I know all the book guys. Everybody's beat up. It's been a long weekend. And then college basketball is starting. And it is the million games tonight on the board. So to get away from some college basketball, watch this game tonight and root for all of the props. Even the first half touchdown guy, Bucky, please. So
don't try to appease me. I'm fine.
From Trini, from all this other stuff. Listen, it's been a long weekend, all right? Saturday, I got to just mention it. Penn State took their lumps, okay? I don't have an Ohio State hat, but I was told.
Wow, and you're still going to put the hat on your head?
You needed a bet. I still have the Penn State hat because you want to bet? If you want to have a bonus bet, you want to put it on something like our guy Tom did and smashed it with everything. Penn State's making the playoff. I'm just telling you right now. Penn State is still making the playoff case.
It's just Monday. A lot of hot takes for a Monday.
With your new favorite hockey team, the Devils, tonight at Edmonton. I got to get a little hockey.
I just got to ask this question real quick. I know we got to wrap. I got to ask this question, Kasey. You can carry it over into the next show if you want to. Because we haven't done this at all. Are we taking this for granted? Like, Chiefs are 7-0, the Bucks are down their biggest weapons. Of course, they're the favorites. Favorites win. They're at home. But like, is there a path to Tampa winning this game?
Is there what?
Is there a path to Tampa winning this game? How does an upset happen? Other than
absolutely.
injury to Mahomes or something, how does an upset end?
Chiefs struggle to execute in the red zone because they're 24th in the league. No, I can go on a whole spiel that would just make absolutely no sense. But regardless, we'll figure out when kickoff comes about.
All right,
There you go. That's what we're going with. Make sure you guys follow these guys over on X and come chat with us during the game and while in-game live. We've run you through the game for all lines, odds, bets.
Tatum has fixed that hitch. He now shoots it at the top of his jump. His release is really pure. And right now he's shooting it at 49% from three. Now, I'm not saying he's going to shoot at 49% from three for the season. But if he's at 42, 43%, Lord have mercy, look out below. Jason Tatum, right now, my number 6 player in the NBA.
Betting above the rim. Only on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the game starts so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
Welcome back into Pro Football Today, the pregame show with Kasey Hudson and now Mr. Donnie Rightside.
Yep.
And look, I'm just going to preference this by saying that Donnie and I are not on the same train of thought tonight whatsoever, but we can be cordial, and we're going to walk you guys through this because I'm very excited to see what you've got when you start chanting blowout.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the energy
tonight.
We started with here, but regardless, first thoughts when it comes to Bucs taking on the Chiefs.
It's going to be I think it's going to be a solid game tonight. What I was worried about earlier today is we started to hear about some of the weather conditions creeping in, but the latest forecast looks like it's going to be pretty nice. There is some intermittent rain, but not that heavy thunderstorms that we talked about, and also light winds there. We should get a clean slate. So just starting off there, if you have handicaps out there, if you like Baker Mayfield, if you like Patrick Mahomes, everything should be good to go tonight. You shouldn't worry about weather, and that's always key.
Okay, that's what I was looking to get an update on, because then the other conversation was like, this is the game for the wide receivers. Well, only for the Chiefs side, because there's a number of them down for the Bucs side. And then it's the game of the tight ends. That was the other script that we were running with in the pregame party beforehand. But now, is there a chance for the running backs to have some sort of a game here? Kareem Hunt, by any chance, his number sitting at 65.5. I heard some people mentioning some flux there. So what are we seeing in the offense?
This morning, he was minus 180, minus 190 across the board for an anytime touchdown market. That's actually plummeted down to 140, and I love that bet. Kareem Hunt, past couple games, certainly is your bell cow running back for the Kansas City Chiefs, and he gets the goal line carries. We'll start there. But if we flip to the running backs on the opposite side, they got to lead the way tonight, Kasey. Like, there's top 3 wide receivers are down for the Buccaneers, but the key you have is you got some pretty good pass catchers out of the backfield. Bucky Irving tonight, 50 combined rushing and receiving is part of one of the parlays I have. He has to break out tonight because if you don't have the explosive plays that we're used to with Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, you got to look somewhere else. Bucky can be that guy tonight for the Buccaneers.
He absolutely can. He just cannot drop the ball. But I'm sure he's heard it plenty from his teammates and his coach. So regardless of all of that. Now, you did mention this dropping down and becoming more favorable for Kareem Hunt. But who else do you see potentially getting in the end zone for the Chiefs, who struggle with some of their red zone conversions?
Oh, they do. It's got to get better. But what you saw last week, finally, right? Travis Kelce breaking through and getting that touchdown last week. I was on him for an anytime touchdown. I think it's a legitimate market tonight. But the one guy I do want to look at is Nuke Hopkins on the outside. We hear him coming over, obviously, from Tennessee. What a better way to get him involved in the game plan and say, you know what? It's an extra week in the playbook. You got to throw him some red zone targets. That's what he lives on.
Right.
One-on-one coverage in the end zone, back shoulder fades, jump balls in the end zone. Patrick Mahomes is going to give him a chance tonight. So if I'm looking for another Kansas City perspective, love Kareem Hunt, but legitimate looks at Kelce, but maybe even more of an automatic look, that sort of like, crowd play for us. Hey, is Nuke Hopkins going to be available in the end zone? He should score tonight. He's got a legitimate chance.
All right, let's stick with the Hopkins conversation because, as you mentioned, the activity should be there for him. He was on limited snaps in his debut, I guess you could say. But outside of that, his numbers sitting kind of low there. He had a number of yards last week, but a lot of people are wondering, do we alt this guy up with the expectation of him having a larger role with the Chiefs tonight, or do we just stick to him having a little bit of a 50-plus yard performing game? So what do we expect out of Hopkins?
Well, if I do think the Chiefs will be winning, we know the Chiefs' MO in the second half. Get up 7 points, 10 points, you really slow it down. But if we're looking honestly, look at some of the other wide receivers at the trade deadline that made those moves. Devontae Adams, hey, where you been? Oh, look at that. Couple games in, finally breaks out, touchdown, big play in that environment. Amari Cooper goes to the Buffalo Bills. Does score week number 1, but injured, insignificant here. These guys usually take that leap 2 to 3 weeks when they get more familiar with the offense. And also, it's up to the quarterback to get them involved and say, you know what, you're going to be a big player down the stretch. So for me, DeAndre Hopkins, I don't know if we're alting him up higher, but alting him for at least a touchdown, maybe more, because I do think if you tell me in this game, Kasey, I'm going to get 3 red zone targets for Hopkins, that's a touchdown for me, and I'll take it.
I would say so. I mean, he's been able to do it in offenses that are extremely incapable
Will Levis,
of getting some things done.
Nope.
Exactly. When you make some magic happen from a magic-less situation, you can be counted on. Now, what can we expect from the Bucs offense? Because, of course, we're talking so much about the loss of Evans and Godwin, but yet we've seen some of these younger guys step up. We've seen the fact that Baker Mayfield can continue to push for massive yardage or attempts. That's where I'm leaning for when it comes to the Baker conversation tonight. But what can the Bucs offense bring to make this competitive?
You can't have the turnovers tonight, and we'll start there because we used to talk about the Kansas City Chiefs singularly here, Kasey, on just saying they're really good on offense, and maybe they can get a stop or two on defense in the fourth quarter. Right. Spagnuolo's really turned up the gas on that defense where they're actually arguably right now the better side of that team, which is crazy when you think about Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes and the weapons like Travis Kelce they have. But for me, the Bucs offense, it's Baker Mayfield. If you can tell me right now he limits this game to 1 interception or less, they're going to be in this ball game. But you're down 3 wideouts. Like Baker Mayfield is so much fun to bet and so much fun to watch on Tampa Bay when he has Godwin, when he has Evans on the outside. How much can Cade Otton step up? Because as much as we like Cade Otton, you might be looking at the defense for Steve Spagnuolo saying, yeah, we take this guy. Like, who else can step up? Which, again, is why I look at those running backs here as technically wide receivers / running backs. They got to step up tonight.
I'm hoping Bucky Irving does, especially because I'm going to stick with that first half touchdown. Who cares? But let me know some of your best bets of the night in this matchup.
Yeah, Hunt, definitely, no doubt about it. I did have a parlay tonight, which includes a lot of Kansas City Chiefs since I think they're going to win. Kansas City Chiefs money line, Patrick Mahomes to throw for at least 200 yards, 1 touchdown pass. Also, Nuke Hopkins to get 25 yards. But then I did splash in Bucky Irving, 50 rushing and receiving on that. I think it makes a lot of sense. And with the temperatures, not chilly tonight, not many windy conditions. If we just get a sprinkle, why don't we get points tonight? Why not?
I think so. Yeah. I'm a big fan of it. Now, in the debut for Hopkins, we saw 2 chunk plays. Would we look or kind of dance on the idea of him getting the longest reception of the night? Because we do know that those big passes can come over on that Bucs defense.
It's hard because the one thing we know is Nuke Hopkins now, let's just say 5 or 6 years ago, you look for that 50-yard pass downfield where you just throw it up in there and he makes the catch.
Yeah.
Xavier Worthy is so fast, that's what scares me. Yep. 17-yard completion over the middle, which turns into 45-plus yards at that point. That's what I would worry about. So for me, Nuke Hopkins, catches, yes. Yards, yes. I don't know about the deepest reception in this game.
All right. Maybe something to not steer too hot on. But Xavier Worthy did come up, and Tom was kind of referring to it as a sense of like, we don't really know how they're going to utilize him. It's changed up game by game.
Yeah.
There's been moments where there kind of seems to be some mistrust there, but I mean, he's a rookie, so
Yes.
it tends to happen. What do you think his production can be tonight?
You know what? It's when I look at Xavier Worthy, it's the same way when I saw his first game in the preseason. He's going to get 2 rushes tonight. You know that. That's going to be in the game plan.
A rushing TD?
It may be. Instead of taking just receiving yards, take his rushing and receiving, because it could turn out to be 4 catches, 46 yards, 2 carries, 19 or 21 yards, puts you right over that total.
All right. You talked about the fact that Baker Mayfield needs to make sure he limits turnovers, but we've seen an interception from Patrick Mahomes in every game so far this year. The guys were also mentioning, I believe it's out there for a plus 202 was the last thing I heard, but both of these quarterbacks to have an interception, the likability of that tonight.
I do like that, and the reason being is Todd Bowles, say what you want. That defense has been lit up 4 straight weeks. I mean, maybe the worst of it was you give up 27 points to the New Orleans Saints when it was Spencer Rattler at quarterback, which is ridiculous. The other weeks, obviously, playing good quarterbacks. But when you do put pressure on a quarterback and blitz heavily, 2 things are going to happen. Big plays for you or big plays for the offense. Tip ball, interception, one-on-one coverage, it can happen. Why not? Another interception for both of these guys tonight. I think it makes sense.
We saw that with the blitz-heavy coverage last night that the Colts put on the Vikings. And, I mean, Sam Darnold was rolling around on the ground for half of the game, but still made some things happen. So we will see.
Yep.
Some other final thoughts when it comes to this matchup, because it sounds like, okay, Chiefs are the most complete team when it comes to going toe-to-toe with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Somebody asked me this earlier. How do the Bucs have a path in this game besides minimizing turnovers?
Unless Patrick Mahomes gets injured in the first quarter, I don't think they can win this game. Like, the more I think about it all day long, where you're trying to line up what the Bucs do well. The reason I like the Bucs in this season is wide receivers and Baker Mayfield. They have no wide receivers tonight. It's Cade Otton and a bunch of running backs going against one of the best defenses in the NFL, one of the toughest environments here, and a quarterback that we know is going to put the ball in harm's way, which is usually fantastic for a total. And if you have big-time wide receivers, they can make plays for you. Who's going downfield and making that big play tonight? I just don't see it. So the pathway to victory literally is everybody gets hurt for Kansas City for me tonight. That's being honest.
Wow. Well, I appreciate the honesty. That's for sure. Now, this total sitting 42.5, spread sitting at 9.5. What's the play on the total and the spread for the night?
Morning, I like the over. Afternoon, I didn't because I heard the weather was coming in. But now as we look at the night where we don't think it's going to be too bad of weather, we should be able to get into the 40s. So I think the Kansas City Chiefs will move the football, but my favorite word to use is give me a running mate, Baker. Make some plays early, and we'll have a good game tonight.
All right, final score prediction, hot seat.
Now, again, it was 20. It was 24. That 27 to 13 range, which then said that's an under game. But maybe bumping it up now with the weather at this point. Hey, 2 pick sixes for Baker. That's another 2 touchdowns for the Chiefs. Roll them tonight, Chiefs. Easy victory.
All right. Donnie's rolling with the Chiefs, but In-Game Live is rolling with the coverage coming up here on SportsGrid TV. So make sure you stick with the guys. It's going to be Donnie, Kevin, Joe giving you all the information you need to make the best bets possible. It's better when you're on the grid, but most importantly, it's better when you're following everybody on the grid. The conversations will continue over there. We'll see what best bets shake out and so much more, but make sure you stick with us here on SportsGrid. We got In-Game Live coming up next.
We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
You know what? What can one of these quarterbacks or wide receivers do for me this year to make a wager? It's got to be the running conditions there for Jaden Daniels.
In regards to Jaden Daniels, you know I was on him in regards to the Heisman Trophy. I actually think he's going to do it on the ground, through the air, 40 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, playing in Cliff Kingsbury's offense where he wants to spread it and throw it. I think he's going to put up dynamic numbers.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
The only streaming sports betting network. Tips, info, and insights to up your IQ. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
New to the Live Golf Plus app. Watch Live Golf any way you want it. Follow any group. Replay any shot. Anytime, anywhere. Any questions? Watch Live Golf live and on demand.
He had 4 grabs in the first half for just over 30 yards, was injured, came back in briefly, and then had to be carted off.
We were pessimistic on Puka Nakua's injury to the same right knee, of that being a nothing, just a bursa, and that's it, as per Sean McVay. We felt there could be a small PCL component.
The early line, only